Section 6.2.23, a binomial probability experiment is conducted with the given parameters. We're going to compute the probability of X successes in the n independent trials of the experiment. Where n is equal to 9, the probability P is equal to 0.1, and X is less than or equal to 3. Okay, so to find the probability, we're going to have to use the following formula. Where n is equal to 9, x is equal to either 3, 2, 1, and 0, since it's less than 3. And therefore, remembering that p of x is less than or equal to a is equal to p of 0 plus p of 1 plus continuous to plus p of a. So first, let's write out this formula. Okay, we know the value of a is going to be 3. Okay, so that means that P of x, which is less than or equal to 3, is going to equal the probability of 0 plus the probability of 1 plus the probability of 2 plus the probability of 3. Okay, so when we want to find the probability of 0, okay, we know that n is equal to 9, we know the probability is 0.1, and we know that x is equal to 0. So we're going to plug it into this formula. So we're going to find P of 0, which is going to equal n, which is 9, combination x, which is 0, which is the probability of 0.1 to the power of x, which is 0, times 1 minus 0.1 to the power of n, which is 9 minus 0. Okay? And so we're going to go ahead and do that. All right, so let's go ahead and put that in our calculator. So the best way to do that is the following. Okay? We're going to put in the combination formula, so it's going to be 9. We're going to go to math and then go to probability, and then put in the combination of number 3. And the value of r is going to be 0. Okay, and we're going to hit enter. That's going to give us 1. Then we're going to hit times, parentheses, 0.1 to the power of 0. So we're going to raise that to the 0 power and hit enter, which is 1. And then times, parentheses, 1 minus 0.1 to the power of 9 minus 0, which is 9, which is equal to 0.3874. We're going to round it to 4 decimal places, so that is 0.3874. So 0.3874. Okay, now we need to find the probability when x is equal to 1. So we have n is equal to 9, p is equal to 0.1, and then x is equal to 1. So now we're going to find P of 1, which is going to equal 9 combination 1 times 0.1 to the 1 power times 1 minus 0.1 to the 9 minus 1. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the same thing here. So let's go ahead. We're going to take 9, math, and then go to probability, and go to the combination, which is number 3, and then put in the value of x, which is 1 now. Okay, so that gives us 9. Then we're going to multiply that by 0.1 to the power of 1, and that is 0.9. And then we're going to multiply that by 1 minus 0.1, and that's to the power of 9 minus 1, which is 8. And that gives us approximately, again, 0.3874. So we have 0.3874. Okay, now we're going to say that n is equal to 9. The probability, again, is 0.1. And now x is going to equal 2. So we have the probability of 2, which is equal to 9 combination 2, times 0.1 to the second power times 1 minus 0.1 to the 9 minus 2. So let's go ahead and do that. So we have 9, math, go to probability, go down to number 3, hit enter, and then put in the number 2, and then select enter, and that's 36. Now we're going to multiply that by 0.1 raised to the second power. And then we're going to multiply that by 1 minus 0.1. And we're going to raise that to 9 minus 2, which is 7. And that gives us approximately 0.1722. 0.1722. Okay, and then we're going to take n, which is equal to 9, p is equal to 0.1, and now x is going to equal 3, and that's the last thing that we need to go to because it's less than or equal to 3. So we have the probability of 3, which is equal to 9 combination 3 times 0.1 to the third power times 1 minus 0.1 to the 9 minus 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the same thing here. So we're going to take 9, math, go to probability, and then the combination number 3, and then put in the value of 3. That gives us 84, and then we're going to multiply that by 0.1 raised to the third power. And then we're going to multiply that by 1 minus 0.1 raised to the power of 9 minus 3, which is 6. And then we're going to round that to 4 decimal places, which gives us 0.0446. So that gives us 0.0446. So therefore, if we want to find the probability of x, which is less than or equal to 3, the probability of 0 was 0.3874, plus the probability of 1 was also 0.3874, plus the probability of 2, which is 0.1722, and plus the probability of 3, which is 0.446. So if we go ahead and then add that all up, then we would get the following. We would get 0, or approximately, since it's an approximation, 0.9916. Okay, so that is doing this by hand. Now let's go ahead and use the calculator formula, the TI-84. Okay, now because this says less than or equal to, this means cumulative. So we're going to use the formula, the Binomial Cdf, because that means cumulative since it's less than or equal to. And that means we're going to use n, and then the value of p, and then the value of x. Okay, so we're going to have binomial PDF, where the number of trials is 9, the probability is 0.1, and the value of x is going to be 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and use our calculator here. So we're going to hit second distribution, and then we're going to scroll all the way down to where we see binomial CDF, meaning cumulative. And then the number of trials is 9. We know that the value of the probability is 0.1. And we know the value of x is 3. And then we're going to select paste, select enter, and we should get 0.9916. Or in this case, 0.9917. Okay. And now let's go ahead and use Statcrunch. Okay, so if we want to use Statcrunch, we're going to go ahead and go to Stat, and then select Calculators, and then go to Binomial. Okay, and we have the standard. We know that our number of trials is 9. We know that our probability is 0.1. We know that it's less than or equal to the value of 3. So let's go ahead and find this option here. Okay, so again here we get rounded to 4 decimal places, 0.9917. So I wanted to point out here that, see the calculator? It gives you the best approximation. So does the binomial calculator. The reason why this number is slightly off is because we rounded it prior to adding these all up. So what I want to do now is I want to redo this so that you understand why this needs to happen. So what we need to do is, instead of rounding each one of these to 4 decimal places, we're going to write down the full result so that we can see that when we round it before we add, that's why we get a small error in our calculation when you're doing that. So let's go ahead and do this again. So let's quickly do this. So we're going to go ahead. We got 9. Okay, math, probability, and then we have 0. Hit enter. That's 1 times 0.1 to the power of 0, which still gives us 1, times, okay, now 1 minus 0.1 is 0.9, and that's to the power of 9. So we get the following number. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and copy this from the calculator here. Okay, so therefore there is that number. Okay, now let's go ahead and do the next one here. So we have 9. Okay, go to probability, and now we have the value of 1. Hit enter, times 0.1 to the power of 1. And then that's going to be multiplied by 0.9 to the power of 9 minus 1, which is 8. And that gives us that following number. Okay, let's go ahead and do the second one here. So we have 9, math, probability. The value of x is 2, hit enter, and then we're going to multiply that by 0.1 to the power of 2. And then we're going to multiply that by 0.9 to the power of 9 minus 2, which is 7. And that gives us that following number. Okay, let's go to the last one here. We got 9, and then math, and then we're going to go to probability. We got combination here. We got 3, and then times 0.1 to the 3rd power. And then we're going to multiply that by 0.9 to the power of 9 minus 3, which is 6. And that gives us the following number. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to write those numbers down. So we have 0.387420.489 plus 0.387420.489 plus 0.172186884, and then plus 0.04464144. Okay, let's go ahead and add those up. So 0.387420.489 plus 0.387420.489 plus 0.172186884 plus 0.04464144 0.44641044. And now we round it to 4 decimal places. Now you can see we can round up to get 0.9917. Okay, so again, I wanted to go through that so that you see why you may be a number off. So it is important not to round beforehand. You want to round at the very end, and therefore you won't have any issues when you put in your value or your answer.